Only 50 years ago, it wasn't rare to die at home, attended by one's family and friends. We wanted a beautiful death. Now, we want to die well, so we go to hospitals to die. Often this process takes place in the intensive care unit, in an aseptic basement room. Today's advanced technology has changed our relationship to death. Machines enable doctors to keep a patient alive for much longer than before. But if all your organs can function with life support, how can death be defined? Death is still a taboo, at the hospital and everywhere else, and people are not comfortable with it. In France, dying at the hospital is at the center of every ethical debate. When a life is ending, where is the boundary between reasonable treatment and futility? Hospital staff must now deal with these questions, which have also made their professions more difficult.
When you see a patient in the ICU, you know he's seriously ill. The room's very cold. It contains a hospital bed and racks of medical equipment. It's really well organized and quite brutal. I reported for my internship on Monday. We had a patient who had had a brain hemorrhage, but she had been rescued. They had managed to drain the blood from her brain, and she had woken up. I personally had been with her from the moment she arrived, and really it was quite puzzling for me because, well, besides my professional attachment to her, I really liked her. And then, my patient, brain hemorrhage, she dies. My textbook can't help me here. There's no kind of theory that covers this. So what do I do? I asked my head doctor if I'd ever grow a sort of protection against this, and he said, "No, you won't. The beautiful thing about this profession is the empathy. And even if you learn to be a little more careful, there'll always be cases that break your heart."
If you reason in terms of pure logic, it's stupid to resuscitate a patient who has no chance of survival. But in practice, things are messier. In real life, what do? You have to stop thinking and act. Do you switch off the light? Unplug the machine? That's an irreversible decision, so it's enormously important. A resuscitation that lasts too long is a failure. The hard part of our job is making the right decisions at the right time. Once everyone agrees to stopping the machine, it's not a difficult step to take because the solution is finally clear. It's not the solution you hoped for 2 weeks ago, but at least it is a solution. The problem is approaching family members who are extremely upset and discussing subjects like death or organ donation. This is a very delicate task. My generation was never trained to do that. Never. A couple of quick lectures, but generally zero. I don't have any magic words. No one taught me any, and I haven't found any. It's useless. You have to tell people the truth, in words they understand. You can't use technical terms. People have to hear the word dying, the word death.
Supporting a dying patient is a task that is really unique. What are you going to say to someone who's dying? What can you say to try to comfort him, to relieve his fears? I don't know. Anyway, sometimes you sit with him, holding his hand or just being there. Letting a person die all alone in a cold ICU room, it's insensitive, I think. Yes, sometimes I stay close to a patient and I take his hand. Even if he's in a coma and supposedly he can't hear me, he doesn't know I'm there, I don't know. As a human being, at some point I just think, I'm doing this for him because I would want somebody to do it for me. Once you have some experience, you learn to try to leave stuff at work, so to speak. But you can't. There's no on-off switch.
I think I'll be marked for life by this patient. I'll always remember her. But right now it's too hard for me. I'm not ready for this daily contact with death. It's ever present. At this point, I don't think I can choose this specialty.